What's up, everyone? It's Isaac Smolden, the production manager here at My House. Just reminding you that today's episode of My Voice is part 2 of a 2-part series with our guest. And if you haven't listened to part 1, you should go and check that out. That is season 3, episode 1 of My Voice before listening to this episode. Thanks. Enjoy the show. My Voice provides those with lived experience in homelessness, addiction, mental and behavioral health struggles, and domestic violence with a platform to tell their story in their words. Every episode is conducted anonymously in order to facilitate a candid and comfortable place for guests to tell their story. My Voice is hosted by Bryan Fields, who works as a case manager here at the My House Youth Drop-In Center in Wasilla, Alaska. We now join a My Voice conversation, already in progress.
About a week after that, the DEA capitalized on that and raided the house. And I was woken up like terrified. 5 or 6 dudes in like flannels with like bulletproof vests on and assault rifles, like, get up.
Yeah.
Get up.
And you're 19 still at this time?
Yeah, I was 19. You know, they throw me on the ground. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Right? And there's like the driveway's just filled with them. Like all these just regular looking, like a crappy Ford Taurus, but there's just these guys. Like I thought we were being robbed or something at first. Yeah, and they're just tearing everything apart, the whole house, flipping couches. And they start asking me, they're like, what goes on at this house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's wife, the plug's wife, was like standing right next to me, like also in cuffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I was trying to just be hard, right? Because still in my head, like I was scared, but I still thought I've made it. Like I still thought like this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, the DEA is here, bro. Like am I El Chapo?
Is this a music video?
Yeah, dude. It's just like I'm just so lost, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to jail for a night, I think.
Did you get charged?
For like a pipe or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The charges didn't stick. I was out the next day.
Yeah.
But he went to prison for 12 years.
Wow.
His daughter went somewhere like Valdez or somewhere for treatment or something.
Right.
And the wife, she got 6 years, I think, because there was a ton of guns in the house. And they caught him at the airport.
Oh, wow.
And then raided the house.
Oh, dang. So, okay. That's a lot,
I know, it's
man.
a lot, man.
Dude, dang.
That's why it's hard for me to remember this stuff chronologically, because there's so much.
So much that happened, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the, like, yeah, I made it, and, like, this is kind of feeding that ego of, like, I have power and I have control and look at me. During that, was there any, like, conflict that was...
Internally?
Yeah, was that, maybe this isn't me, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, or were you just fully immersed in it at that point?
Well, there's definitely, like, internal things going on in my head saying, like, this is not me, but not I want to be better, but that I'm not hard. So it's still like I'm trying to gain some sort of power and strength and like be cool, and it was a lot of it is insecurity. As I get older, when I'm sitting in jail, when I'm like maybe 23, 24,
Yeah.
after, you know, getting arrested for selling dope or stealing, like then I started thinking like, man, what were my friends from like high school doing right now?
Right.
They got a wife, right? Like,
Yeah.
they got children that they take care of. They're like, they bought a home, you know, like they have this nice, like, and what am I doing?
Yeah. And so at this point, like all of that happened and still you're just,
Yeah.
you're like, run it.
Even
Let's go.
Yo, yeah. Even like when
El Chapo Jr.
Yeah, that night in jail.
That just added to your like
It
heart,
did.
right? Like a notch in the belt. You're just like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it really did. And it's
I did hardcore time.
right. Yeah, I remember like looking. I was on the top bunk in my cell, and I didn't know that the guy had been arrested.
Yeah.
I don't want to say his name, but
Right.
I didn't know he had been arrested. And like my first time in jail, I'm in Echo Mod at Master Patrol, and
Yeah.
the guy underneath me is just puking his guts out, man. And I look over in the morning, and it's him. He's underneath me.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, yo. And like he looks up like just super dope sick, right?
yeah.
And I'm like, how crazy is this, dude? We're roommates. Like, He looked so irritated, man.
I could imagine.
I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so you spent a night there, and then you got released, and then what? So you lost your place to live.
Yeah.
So where did you go from there?
I'm trying to remember that. I might have went back to, or I might have went to True North. That might have been my first time going to True North, actually. Sober living.
Okay.
Back when it was Fiend to Clean. Fiend to Clean.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Some more Origins True North stories. I like that.
Yeah. I think I went there. I don't remember where I was staying in the meantime.
Okay.
But
so you tried to engage in treatment. Well, not really. You were just looking for a place to live.
Yeah, I mean probation. I think I got on probation for that. I don't remember. I've been on probation a lot.
So how long were you in sober living for?
I think I was there for like 4 months maybe.
Okay.
And then I think I drank some beer or something.
Yeah.
Blew a point. I don't know. I did something just dumb.
Yeah.
And then I came home and told my roommate about it. I was like, dude, I'm drunk. Feels great. Like expecting him to be chill.
Did he be like all excited about it?
Yeah, he told on me.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
He acted
weird.
excited.
That's weird that he would do that in that type of environment.
Yeah,
I couldn't see that coming.
Lame. So yeah, I got kicked out, and then I think I just went back to just being like on the streets, couch surfing, and doing whatever.
Did you ever get into My House's housing?
Yes, and I think that was after my second time I went to True North. There's a lot of.
So we got some stuff to fill in here.
Well, the rest is the same story. Like all that in between stuff is like, it's just me like getting arrested for stealing, or I'm house to house, couch surfing, like doing drugs, right? Starting to shoot up.
Okay. How old were you when you started IV using?
Maybe 20.
Wow.
Maybe 20. And I think that was, I met, I met the mother of my kids. We met in our addiction. She was doing that and kind of introduced me to that a little bit. I had tried it once, but I hated it.
Yeah.
Like some guy did it to me with like a shot of meth and missed. Like I didn't know it wasn't supposed to hurt like hell.
Yeah.
I was like, does this hurt? I'm like, yeah. He's like, uh-oh. I was like,
oh no, dude.
But so I didn't do that, but she was doing it. She actually got pregnant after like 3 weeks of us being together.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There was a lot of, she kind of left the picture a little bit and sobered up, went to her mom's, and I was like still out just during the whole pregnancy, like getting high. And after my first daughter was born, I'm just still like getting high and not present at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did we get more like legal involvement?
Yes. Nothing drastic, but a lot more like go to jail. Okay, you got to go on probation. You got to do these things. You got to stay sober. You got to go to outpatient. And so the second time I was at True North, I got kicked out because I was sneaking girls over. Well, girl. Yeah. I was sneaking a girl over a lot.
I think that's when I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I met you. Yeah. And remember when you tried to tell me that you were like going to be late for a curfew and I'd just become the house lead? And you were like, dude, I'm having car trouble. I'm not going to make it on time. And you had one of the other clients like go up there. He's like, I just happened to break down at the gas station that's like a mile away from the sober living. And you were like, I remember pulling up with the other client and just kind of like, I'm still new, so I'm trying to like find my footing on like, how far do I take this? Yeah. So and so, And I remember like, you were like, you just looked so nervous and you're like, so, you know a lot about cars, man? Or like, and you got the client under there like grabbing stuff under the hood.
I'm like, dude. Yeah. My priorities were still very not good then either. Because I had not had severe enough consequences, right?
Right.
Because that is what motivates me, right?
Yeah.
Like losing things. I mean, I used to have like peer support on my sessions. Like I'd be like, I need to go to cars, man. I gotta get diapers for my kid. You know? And he'd be like, that's cool, man. Let's go. I'm gonna take you there. He'd be like, you want me to come in? I'd be like, nah. And like I'd go in and like get a huge bag of Huggies, right? And like just go to the office little supply section to like cut it open, like take all the diapers out and like fill it up with just like filet mignon, like just stupid stuff like I don't need, right? But I just need to do something wrong.
Right.
I need to steal this.
You need power.
I need something.
Some type of control, right?
Yeah. And I'd come back out like and I'd retape it so it looks like a bag of diapers. And he'd be like, "That's really cool you're doing that, bro." I'm like, "Thanks." Like just so I got kicked out, and then I went to my house housing.
Okay.
They found a girl in my bed. I was
It sounds like you're doing a lot of maintaining at this point. You're just kind of...
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't have any like living skills or job skills or really anything. So that's when I went to my house.
Okay. And what was that experience like?
It was good. I mean, there was not... I told them my situation. Like, they were very quick about getting me in, right? Because I remember being honest. I don't remember who I spoke with, but I remember saying like, I don't really have anywhere to go. I know how to stay alive and like I know how to do this, but like I'm gonna be high if I do that, and I don't want to do that because I was able to start seeing my daughter a little more at the time. It was 1, and I didn't really want to give that up, but it wasn't my main priority.
Right. So you were like on the cusp, like you wanted to be kind of clean, but you didn't.
Yeah, just like pre-contemplation, and they got me in, and it was really cool. There wasn't as much. I think it was kind of a newer kind of program at the time, so there wasn't as much. I don't think they knew the ins and outs of a lot of things. Right. So I was able to get away with a little bit, but they still like they gave me a place, and like they still came and checked in with me. Justin was like super cool.
Yeah.
He really helped me out like a lot.
Yeah.
He would talk to me. I'd come in here like sometimes and we'd just like chop it up. And I was still not, because I was still in True North outpatient, like the classes.
Oh, okay.
I just couldn't be in sober living.
Gotcha.
I was on ankle monitor for some reason, man. I don't remember why. I don't remember why I was on ankle monitor. It died, I guess, for a while.
Like, what do you mean?
I don't know. I just
doesn't it like chirp at you?
Yeah, but I think I had gotten high or drunk, and I slept for like it was about to die at the beginning of the night, and then I passed out for like 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
So I was dead the whole time. And then they came and arrested me, and so I went back to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then at that point, did you get removed from housing and from True North, or? Yeah.
I think I got out, and like I don't remember. That part is like super foggy for me.
Okay.
I know I went back to basically doing the same thing I was doing.
Yeah.
I started to again sell drugs.
Okay.
And I was about 22 or 23, I think. And yeah, I was kind of on my own. Like I knew how to sell drugs. Like I already had a list of like people that I know I could get drugs from, a list of people that I knew, would buy them. And so I started doing that. And then I got in a lot of trouble. And this is probably my rock bottom. Well, you would think, but I got caught up, and I'll say the charges. I mean, I've already dealt with all of it. Yeah. So I got pulled over. I was meeting like a knock at like a park at like 11 or something, which is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And a cop pulled up, and I had a gun. I was on felony probation, absconding also. I had a pistol on me. I had like $2,000 like in 20s, right? Which is like not good. I think I said it was like a tax return. I don't know. But like I pay my taxes or something, right? And I had fairly decent amount of heroin, and a cop I just see him walking up to the car. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like I went to put it down like in between the passenger seat and the center console, and it like, you ever played like 52 card pickup?
Yeah.
Dude, the cash just went everywhere, dude. It went everywhere. It was all at my buddy's feet, man. He had no idea that this happened. So like the cop comes up to his side.
Yeah.
And it just sees it. Like he doesn't even know. He's just looking at the cop trying to like look like a normal guy. And like you can't even see his feet. They're just covered in money. And like there's a pistol sitting there.
Oh,
and like the cop's like, get out, dude. Both of you need to get out right now.
Yeah.
And so they took me to jail. I knew the whole song and dance. Like I know like how booking goes. I know what I got to do. But this time was a little different. They took me to the back.
Yeah.
It was late. It was like 2 a.m. And I'm sitting there for like an hour and a half, and they're not saying anything to me. They sit me in like an office. Like they're not saying anything. And I'm really starting to freak out. Right? Like
this is bad.
I'm already high. Like I'm very, very freaked out. And then this guy comes in, like in pajamas, right? And a badge like around his neck. Like you could tell he just got out of bed.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, what's up? Like, call me by my first name. I'm like, not saying anything.
Yeah.
And he just proceeds to tell me all these things that he knows about me, right? Like my kids and their names and like their mom's name and like where I've been going, what I've been doing, who I've been talking to. Like and I'm not saying anything, but like I'm starting to tear up. I'm starting to get really, really scared.
Yeah.
And then he asked me, he's like, so do you want to see your kids again before they're like 16? And I was like,
wow.
Yeah. And he's like, all right. So he says, totally manipulates me. He's like, well, I'll let you out of jail tomorrow, but you got to do 2 things. I was like, what's that? And then he's like, you got to do what I ask of you if I let you out, and you have to admit that this gun is yours. Right, because I hadn't said anything about any of that. That the money that you have is from selling drugs.
Yeah.
Right. And so right there, it's like 2 Class A's, right? Like just right out the.
Got you.
And I'm like, and then he's like, I can tell you're nervous. Do you want to go smoke a cigarette? I'm like, oh my gosh. Dude.
Oh, he's like, good, dude.
Yeah, he was good, man. So I was like, all right, man, whatever, right? Like, what do I have to lose? And so he's like, I already have your number. I'm like, geez Louise. And so, like, I go into booking, like, and I lay down in my bunk, and I'm like, what did I just do, right? Like, I just admitted to everything. Yeah. But sure enough, my arraignment the next day, the DA stands up and says, we think $1,000 unsecured is appropriate.
Wow.
Which is, that shouldn't be happening.
No.
Right? That's me signing a piece of paper. I was like, wow, this guy's serious.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to lie, man, like, when he said that to me, like, I had every intent. I was like, sure, bro. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'll be a cop. Like, like, I don't want to go. He's like, I'm staring down the barrel of a 10-year sentence or something, right? Or so he told me. I couldn't do it, man. Like, I left, and I was like, I just want to like keep getting high, because one of his probations also, or conditions also, was like, you have to not get in more trouble, right?
Weird.
Yeah. And so I left, and like, I think the first thing I did was I walked to cars and like stole some food, right? And like just got a ride, called a cab. I didn't have money for a cab, like to the trap, had someone in there like give me some money for the cab, and I just was done. Like, I wasn't going to talk to him. I didn't talk to him at all. Like, I changed my number, like, and I just went right back to it, like, immediately. Started doing the same thing I was doing, dropped the ball on him, absconding from my probation, and then a month later, I get pulled over by the troopers with the same exact thing. No. Like $2,000 in cash, a gun, one in the chamber, like a bag of bullets, the dope. At that, there was no talk. Like, I didn't go to the back that time. Like, they took me straight in. At this point, like, I'm bawling my eyes out. Yeah. You know, because you can feel like,
How old are you now?
I was probably about 22 or 23.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, you feel really hard until, like, that happens.
Right.
You know, and then all I can think about is, like, my kids, or, like, what a loser I am, or, like, my mom, and, like, all these things I've thrown away. And, and so... But, like, the first set of charges, though, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention this, was, like, in the air from when that guy talked to me. Yeah. So the first mix, too, and the misconduct involving weapons was, like, in the air. Okay. If you don't do what I say, you're going to get hit with this. Yeah. Right? But I hadn't been arraigned on those or anything. Like, I don't know how he was just holding those. And so I got arrested by the troopers the second time, not WPD. And so I was booked on, like, you know, misconduct involving controlled substance in the second, misconduct involving weapons related to a drug crime in the second or third or whatever. And my bail was like $2,500. But it was just those charges. Those other ones hadn't come down yet. Really? Right? Like, I don't know what was happening with that. And I was talking to my mom a lot then, and I was like, you know, I need to get out of here. like, I need to get out of jail.
This isn't for me.
And I was like, I'll do whatever you want. Like, I'll go to treatment, like, you know, inpatient, right? Like, whatever. And she's like, well, I'm not bailing you out until you get accepted. So we're kind of working on that a little bit. And then a trooper comes into the mod with some papers, and he hands me this paperwork, right? And it's the other charges. I'm like, oh my God, here it is. Oof. And so, like, my bail, I was set to be arraigned on that at, like, I don't remember the exact date, but it was somewhere in July. as soon as I'm arraigned on those new charges, my bail's going way up, right? 2 mixed twos, like 2 gun charges, 2. And so I was telling my mom, like, we got to hurry this up because if I get arraigned on this, you're not going to be able to bail me out. Because I told the judge, I was like, I got accepted like the Dream Center or something like that. And the judge was like, absolutely not. He's like, not unless you're hooked with like a ball and chain, like you're not leaving here. Yeah. But they wanted money. So I was like, or if you give me $2,500. So I was like, okay. So finally, like, but my mom was adamant she would not get me out of this unless I was going to treatment. Like already accepted, had a bed. And so like I was set to be arraigned July 25th at like 9 a.m. And July 24th, like at night, like my mom, I call her, and it was COVID too, so you can't go in there and pay cash. You had to go like during business hours to the courthouse, and like they process this money and then get you out. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to be arraigned tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to get out for a very long time. And she just broke down, right? And she's like crying and crying. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I should have just bailed you out. Like, I don't know what came over me. Like, the old me would have been like, yeah, you should have. Right? But I don't know why. I just wanted to comfort my mom, which was weird because I was in like the most hopeless spot like of my life, like gonna be in there for a very long time. I just wanted to comfort her. I was like, it's okay. Like, it's all right. You know, like we did everything we could. Like, I'm gonna be okay. And like I slept like a baby. It was so weird. And I knew tomorrow was like doomsday. Right. Usually they'll wake you up if you got court. Like if you're sleeping, they'll be like, hey, it's telephonic, get up. And I woke up at like 11 and I didn't get woken up. And I was like, what's going on here? And so like I shuffle over to the phone. Like I call my mom and she's like, your stepmom's on her way to bail you out. And you also got accepted into Nugent's Ranch. And I was like, well, how? She's like, I don't know why, but your court date got postponed to 1 p.m. And like my mom is like a phone warrior, bro. So
yeah,
like
dude, she called me.
Yeah, you know, so you get it, bro. Like,
she called me. It was like a Sunday afternoon and my phone rings and I'm like, who the hell is this? And for some reason I answered it because I usually don't answer numbers that I don't know. Yeah. And she just like, I mean, we talked for like an hour. Yeah. And she was so like sketched out because she was like, she kept asking me, she probably asked me like 10 times. She was like, how do you know him? Da, 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 da. And I was like, oh yeah, he's just a friend of mine. And then she'd be like, well, are you like a good friend or one of his other friends? No, I mean, I was like, no, at that point, I think I was sober for like 3 years or something like that. I was like, I've been sober, da, da, da. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not trying to take any credit for this or anything like that. I don't know if I had anything to do with it, but she was asking me to contact Nugent's Ranch on your behalf. Right. And so after I got off the phone with her, I texted Bridget and I just said, hey, look out for this guy's name. He's going to be applying soon. He's a good kid. Yeah. So on and so forth. But yeah, your mom she's like a little intense, dude. Like, oh yeah, bro. I was like, okay, yeah. Yeah. Whatever you need me to do.
the CEO, like, so that morning I was like, are you kidding me? Like, and like the COs came in, man. Like, well, one in particular. And he's like, I still didn't know what was happening. He's like, Haynes, roll up. Like, let's go. Like, and I was like, he's like, I've been talking to your mom, bro. Like, we got to go. Like, yeah. I'm like, what? He's trying to rush me out of there. Yeah. Because if I go to that arraignment, I'm hit. Yeah. So they're trying to get me out of the jail. Right. Right. Like before I get arraigned. Right. Yeah. And like, I mean, I can't really attribute it to like anything else other than like, I don't know why it got postponed, man. Like that's like divine intervention. Yeah. And it's like funny because the night before is when I finally accepted it. Right. When like I prayed like that night for my mom, right? Not for me, right? And for my kids. And then like the next morning, like this miracle happens. Yeah. And so I got out and then called for my arraignment and the prosecutor was pissed that I was out. Like he did not know until like halfway through the court hearing that I was not calling from like in custody. Yeah. My lawyer's like, well, we got into Nugent's Ranch and like all this stuff. And the DA, like I never heard them so emotional. He was so mad. Like, we can't have people like this, you know, in treatment, like blah, blah, blah. And the judge was like, well, if you want, like he was trying to impose something bail where it's like, I need to go back and pay like $5,000 or they're going to arrest me again or something. Like, and the judge was cool. He was like, well, you got accepted. He's like, if you want to file for that court hearing, talking to the prosecutor, he's like, you can. But other than that, good luck at the ranch.
Wow.
The ranch.
Yeah, the ranch. What's up?
Yeah, or
Farm?
AARS.
Oh, man. It's always, dude, I don't care.
know,
they
dude.
could change their name a million times.
It's the ranch.
It's the ranch, bro.
Yeah.
And it always will be.
And it worked, man. I don't know what happened. Like, something happened, man. Like,
let's talk about that. What was the ranch like? Bro. Also, client 3114 here. So
3163. Yeah. I mean, I went in there desperate, you know, which wore off.
Because there was like no other option at that point.
No, dude.
Yeah.
And smart, and everyone's banking, right? Like, the prosecutor, like, their smart money is on, like, he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, if I were a betting man, I wouldn't have bet on me at the time.
Right.
But I didn't really have any options. So I did that. You know, when you get in treatment, like, you start getting really comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, because I went in there so desperate. I'm like, I'll freaking scrub toilets with a toothbrush for 12 hours a day, whatever you want me to do, right? And then, like, 3 months in, I'm like, who ate all this cinnamon? Like, this place is a prison.
On planet.
Yeah, it's terrible. Send me back to jail, dude. Like, I'm not going to these groups. Like, yeah. But, you know, I worked through all that, like, with my counselor, and, like, started working on, like, these issues and did the steps and got a sponsor and, like, and started, like, farming, dude. Like,
that is the wildest part, dude.
Oh.
When I was out there, like in my wildest dreams, would I ever imagine, like, if you would have told me in, like, the peak of my addiction, you know, Bryan, one day you're going to get sober. And it's going to be because you go and you become a pig farmer. Yeah. I'd have been like, dude, what kind of drugs are you on? And let me have some. Dude. Like, what?
Yeah, it was.
There's something about it, though, man. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like how you were talking about, like, the acceptance, like, with your mom. It's like that getting out of yourself, you know, and, like, doing something for the betterment of others.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, like, for me, I live my life very... This is about me. This is my show, and that's all there is to it. And you can't tell me any otherwise. And so having that humbling experience, like, that's no longer what this is no more. You know what I mean? And you got to show up for other people was like huge, and like the change in who I am today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
It's important, man. I learned a lot out there, and, like, fortunately, I mean, I was, you know, my intake was during a time when they had, like, a really good set of, like, people there, like, other clients who were like really about their recovery. And so, like, if I would have came in with, like, a weird attitude or, like, I'm gonna be sneaky, like, I would have been outcasted.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, that was the same group. Like, my group was the same way, because there was a couple clients that did that, and it was immediate, like, no, bro, I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is super huge. The connections in the community that you're in there with is super huge.
Yeah. And that's, like, what lasts.
Yeah.
Right? Treatment's great. The groups are great. Like, all that is, like, super important in developing those skills and honing yourself for this journey you're about to go on. But the connections that you make, that's the stuff that lasts.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the stuff that's carried me through, like, a lot of my recovery so far.
Absolutely. So. I mean, I know, like, a lot of the people that I was in treatment with, I might not see as much or, like, talk to as much, but every time I see them, it's immediate, like, all, like, nothing but love.
Yeah.
We were just hanging out as best friends yesterday because there was that built connection.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, I thought it would fade. And I remember a client telling me it would. Like, there was this client, he's like, I'm never going to see you guys again. I don't care about you. And da-da-da-da. And unfortunately, that client passed away, like, a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He outcast himself from all of us. But no, man, that was so far from the truth, because those people are like family to me, and I don't even have to see them on a daily basis for that to be how that is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you went through this like this spiritual, like, boot camp together, you know, like, you're freaking, like, soldiers now. Like, it's like, we
went to war.
I've seen people like that I didn't even like in there,
right?
And that really didn't like me.
Yeah,
and, like, this beef that you have with almost everything when you're in there, and then you see them, like, 2 months after you're both graduated, and you're like, what is up?
Yeah,
you're like, how are you doing?
Yeah, what is going on?
It's just gone.
Right.
Yeah, Nugent's Ranch, man. Yeah, like, my third day there, like, I got in an argument. The desperation was gone, like, with the clinical director. Yeah, yelling at him. I was like, you're a child.
Who was the director at the time when you were there?
His name was Daniel Light.
Oh, I didn't meet him.
Yeah, he was a short guy. He was very, like, he's kind of a cowboy when it came to, like, clinical directing. Clients loved him, but he was... I thought I was going to get kicked out like my third day.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, just the growth that I had and like the setbacks that I had and then worked through those. Before I graduated, that man, the one I yelled at and called a child, was like, will you work here?
Wow.
Right? And I did that. Like I graduated and then, I started working there like fairly soon after. Like really soon. Yeah.
Like walk out the door and next day you're showing up for work?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that because I think ethically you're not supposed to do that. But,
okay, we'll just cut that out.
Yeah. But like,
yeah. Okay. So we went through the ranch, learned some stuff, and then you got out and you started working for the ranch. Mm-hmm. And so now you're on the other side giving people the services that were given to you. What was that like?
Well, so kinda like I was still a ranch hand.
Oh, okay.
Right. So like I did get to do like some work groups and stuff, but
were you like, did like that sense of need for power come back?
Oh, yeah. Like, absolutely. Well, it was weird.
Pick those potatoes.
It was weird because some of them were still clients when I was there.
Oh, wow.
So and I mean, like, which was fun. Like, I really encompassed like that whole like identity. Like, like I'm driving a tractor, I'm smoking a big old fat cigar in it. Like, like I'm wearing like Vans and like a watch, like a Michael Kors watch. So I'm still like, I loved it. But there came a time where I wanted to give more like of like my recovery to them. I do like working in the fields and stuff, but I did not have enough time with the clients that I wanted.
Gotcha.
And that is when True North gave me a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you started working there.
Yeah.
At their Vita Nova.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you do there?
Well, I'm the residential peer lead.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, going from like a 12-year sentence to residential peer lead. Dang, dude.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like my supervisor, we were in addiction together also.
Yeah.
Right? And so like just doing dirt like all the time. And and now we're like running this treatment center. Our staff like threw us a party 2 days ago for National Bosses Day.
What?
And we walked in and we're just like, how weird is this, bro? Like, do they know like who we really are? Like, they're like, thank you for leading us and helping us.
Wow.
It's like, oh my gosh.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so how's the relationship with family now?
It's good. Like I've rekindled a lot of that. Like me and my dad have a relationship that's not so much because I've been a father now. So I understand like what it's like to deal like, and so like, I understand things and I had a lot of empathy for like the stuff that he went through with me, right? I haven't raised a hellion teenager yet, but,
right.
And so my dad was very much, my hand is not out to you, but my arms are open, right?
Oh,
like
wow.
I want to have a relationship with you. I'm not going to like give you any money,
right?
Anything, which I would never ask for, but so I talk to him every now and then. I just saw him not too long ago. I gave him a ride like to the airport or something. And my mom, still very close. We talk all the time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, I don't want to do that, right? Like, I'm like, because, my mom's a talker, right? Like, those conversations can be an hour and a half, like 2 hours. But, like, my sponsor told me, he's like, part of this recovery thing is, like, being a dad and, like, being sober isn't the only thing. Like, you need to be a son, right? Like, you need to be a good brother. Yeah. You need to, like, do these things and show up.
Right.
Through doing that, I've developed a way more, like, mature, like, relationship with my mom. Mm. Like I had her come up and stay with me. Oh, wow. Right, like a year ago. Like she came and stayed with me and my little sister in my apartment. Right. With my spoons and bowls. Like this is my dryer. This is where I wash my own clothes.
I am a big boy now.
Yeah. It's beautiful, man.
Yeah, yeah. And you got 2 kids now? Mm-hmm. 2 kids?
Yep, 6 and 3.
And that relationship is good now, and you're in their life, and that's super awesome, man. Yep. That's so cool, dude. I'm so proud of you, man. Like I didn't know you for a long time, but I got to see a little glimpse of the chaos that was your life, and I always believed that you were meant for something more, and it's like super cool to see you on this side and doing the thing.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Super proud of you, bro.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of My Voice. For local services here at my house, please call 373-4357. That's 373-HELP.